Yeah, happy Thursday, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to the Dollar Hour. I am Deontay Burton, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. We got an awesome show playing with you guys tonight because I know a lot, and we talk about entrepreneurship a lot on the show, and I know a lot of people are looking to go down that road. You might be in a situation where have been employed for several years. You've acquired a skill set. You're ready to step out there on your own, do your thing and stuff, but you kind of, on the fence, don't know when to go about it. And we're going to have a show tonight to discuss about going from job to business. These are key considerations I think everybody need to, take part in. I've talked about this subject before because I am one of the people that did work in corporate America, hell, almost 20 years at one job for 15 years prior to going full-time self-employed. So I actually know, got a little experience with it.
A little bit.
The good, the bad, and the ugly with doing it. So I want to have that discussion with you guys. Again, it's going from job to business and some key consideration. Again, this is the Dollar Hour. I am Deontay Burton, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Before we get started, I want to say what's up to my awesome producer, DJ Lab.
What's going on, brother? It's Thursday.
Absolutely, the best day of the week, my brother.
4th of April.
Yeah.
We're already in April.
Yeah, 404 day.
Oh, it's 404 day.
Yeah, 404 day.
what y'all do on 404 day? What happens on 404 day?
Man, I don't know. I just hear a lot of folk from the west side and everybody from Atlanta. 404 day. We never had that.
Y'all had too many days for me in Atlanta.
Man.
It's 404 day. It's Ocean Park day. It's Mosey Park day. What? How many days can you have?
We just need a reason to congregate and have fun. That's all.
How about hanging out, just having a good time?
Hey man, we take it how it come. Also, want to say what's up to my other producer, Slick 316. What's up, Reek?
What's going on?
Hey man, it's funny. He had a chance to check that Freaknik documentary.
I did.
Hey, and what you think about it?
From what I heard, because I wasn't here. From what I heard about the Freaknik, that documentary didn't do it no justice. I was expecting to see, you know what I'm saying? Debauchery.
And this come from a native Atlanta. Right, that grew up right there on the west side on Bankhead Highway. Man, just be real with your dog. I mean, whatever the movie has, and I seen it and everything, bro, that was us every day.
Really?
Yeah, it was us every day.
Every day?
Yeah.
Y'all was out saying like that every day?
92, 3, 4, 5. That was ATL.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man, hey, you think about, man, Sunday come from Maddox, Sunday hitting Mosley Park. That was every day.
Oh, that was all the time.
That was every day growing up in Atlanta in the 90s. That wasn't Freaknik. That was just for the tourists.
Right.
But that was every day.
Right, okay. So y'all did it like that every day.
Every day, man. Every day. I told you, boy, I had a wonderful childhood.
I know you told me.
I had a wonderful childhood. Oh, Lord. Yes, I did.
So that was the A every day.
Oh, that was Atlanta
every day. And the college
just
got hold of going to the park.
Yeah, that's exactly. That's just for tourists coming in.
Okay.
That was Atlanta every day.
Okay.
Every day, Lord, man. But it was cool. Again, I guess you had to have, a theatrical side of it.
Yeah.
And I thought it was pretty cool. They had people, they said, formed Freaknik and all that. It's amazing how people form stuff that wasn't damn organized. So,
the real Insane Wayne said that the documentary was garbage.
You see some things and stuff like that, but I just, for us natives that grew up here, man, like I said, that was Atlanta.
That was Atlanta.
That was Atlanta, man. I mean,
okay.
I just, Mosley, Maddox, it just really
English Park.
I mean, and I remember back when Metropolitan was Stewart.
Okay.
And I remember a young man, 15, 16 years old, riding in my Chevette, my 1983 Chevy Chevette.
Not the Chevette.
Yeah. Back in Club Nicky's, and they had the little hotel right behind Metropolitan. Yeah, Club Nicky's and all. Man.
So you was all on
Metropolitan
Stewart on your Chevette.
In my Chevette, boy. Ooh, man.
Living the life.
Yeah, man. No. But that was cool. It took me back a little bit, man.
Okay.
Shout out to the Freaknik movie.
That's right.
But again, man, talking about the night show, we're talking about going from job to business. I want to have an in-depth discussion with everybody in regards to anybody that If you've had any past experience where you left your job, went to start a business up, didn't work, you're still doing it, or you're contemplating doing it, feel free to call in. The call-in number is 678-740-9894. Again, the call-in number is 678-740-9894. We're streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. The main hub is the Mr. Short Dollar YouTube channel, where we have close to 1,000 videos covering entrepreneurship, investing, personal finance, and business. But again, before I forget, I got 89 things going on in my mind. Again, if you want to call in and discuss anything in regards to what we're talking about tonight, again, going from job to business, the call-in number is 678-740-9894. And you know, with deciding to do this show tonight, what made me want to talk about it was, you know, I look all the time on the internet, social media. We talk about on the show. So many people talk about being your own boss, and I really don't think people really understand the whole concept when you
Right.
actually fully self-employed and leaving the job. I never made, I ain't never been shy about it. I always say if you got a comfortable situation going on with your job and you want to start a business, don't leave your damn job. Try to milk that cow as long as you
Right,
can.
right.
Firm believer in
Okay.
it. I've never pushed from it. I left my job pretty much here, probably 45 my ass, and and really,
Right.
I hit that glass ceiling.
Right.
I hit that glass ceiling. I couldn't, we're gonna discuss some things even regarding, when those kind of things could pop up. But that glass ceiling, I wasn't gonna get promoted. I had a decision to make in regards to like, hey, I keep coming to here, talking about they ain't fair now,
Right,
they ain't
right.
doing me right, or I can get the hell on.
Right.
And I was in a situation where I had everything ready for me. I
Okay.
had the businesses already thriving, doing good. I had money in my pocket.
Right.
At that time, a supportive wife and family.
Right,
At
right.
that time,
Right,
let it last
right.
long. But but all stuff aside, it was a good situation. I was scared.
Right.
I was
Okay.
scared, just
What if something happened?
Yeah, what if happens and everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's just, but because entrepreneurship is very frightening when you got that by yourself.
Right.
When you got that anchor of a job, especially I had a nice corporate job and stuff like that, those kind of things, when you get ready to step out there, no matter if you have that security, all the security measures in place from the income, the savings and stuff like that, you still be afraid. You know what I'm saying?
We hit on a little bit of that last week. Surprisingly, on the show you had last week when we were talking about when you start your business, how people don't really think about it. I know you'll hit on this, that you 100% responsible for everything now.
Yeah, and that was one of the key things, because I was just, we're going into, again, we're talking about going from job to business. I have friends a lot of times, they'll look at it, I post on social media because, I work hard.
Right.
But like I said, and I probably want to, I don't know if I should be even got P. Diddy, but like P. Diddy, one of the famous sayings, work hard, play hard.
Right. Right.
And that's me. So a lot of times I might post, I might be at the bar, I might be out there on the deck or somewhere hitting my stick, drinking my scotch. Well, you on your business, you do what you want
Right.
to do.
I mean, you told me today you was chilling at noon. I was like,
Hey,
no.
hey man,
But that's
Hey,
that
man.
20 hours a day.
But I had them meetings and stuff like that. You had to get things in
Right,
place.
right.
But check this out though, Leo. Here's the deal: is what I don't think people understand is that it's the inverse. When I'm here, and if I decide to be here and take off, there's things still got to get done. It got to be compensated somewhere. Like if you say, just say if a business got $100 million budget,
Okay.
right, and then they say we got 25 million allocated to education, 25 million allocated towards building, 25 to laws, 25 for advertising, whatever. We know we got a fourth going these different ways. Again,
Right.
we're talking about just basic. Thinking about it in terms of things being an entrepreneur. So you already got it allocated. So if you turn around one day and say, listen, we need to give more funding to the homeless, or we need to give more funding to this, to do things. And once you start taking, you only got the 100.
Right.
So you take from this, you got to take from something else.
Right.
So when I am chilling, I might done put in a 20-hour day,
Right.
right?
Right.
Or I might got to put in a 36-hour day.
Tomorrow.
I ain't even got 36
Right.
hours in a day.
Right.
But I got to hit it like that the next day because I want to relax.
Right. Right.
And that's the kind of mindset. I don't have PTO.
Right.
Right? I don't have sick leave.
Exactly.
I don't have FMLA. And I don't think people think about that enough.
Well, nobody talks about it when you have these videos on YouTube and Instagram and all these social media sites, and they just tell you about the good part of it.
Well,
the good part of owning being the business owner. They don't tell you about the bad part.
Well, the reason why a lot of people don't talk about it, because most people ain't really got no damn business like that.
Say, hey,
that's the
mama.
reason. Hey, what's up, mama? What's going on? Appreciate you tuning in, mama. The reason why a lot of people don't have them discussions in regards to, like probably the downside of entrepreneurship is because, again, they don't have the actual business. They in a situation like they're front they are.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And I love being an entrepreneur. I love being a business owner. One of the key things I always tell people, most time with entrepreneurs, we don't necessarily roll for money. We like the freedom. I get I'm a very educated brother.
Right.
I'm a very experienced person. I can make a lot of money in the corporate sector. I get asked a lot, man. I don't want to get into that. I don't knock it, but I don't want to get. I want to move how I move, do what I want to do, and I like that freedom. A lot of times when you're doing things you love in life, the byproduct be money. Now I'm gonna say this: I ain't making the money, that I made in the private sector.
Right.
Or I could potentially make.
Right.
Ain't a knock, I'm saying I might move things this way and where I might have some assets here and there, but I ain't know what I can make right now with doing it. But I'm cool. I'm cool. Kids grown, just me and the youngest there.
Right.
I'm good. And I think sometimes when people see certain images, might see, Pooch sitting out there on the deck,
right,
or doing certain things at the bar. Man, I want to do that. I want to do that. But if you know me personally, you know how hard I work, and I want to have that discussion with people because a lot of times people can make a permanent decision off temporary problem. Your supervisor piss you off, so you're gonna quit. Yeah, today. So you're gonna quit. You tired of working these, they done had you working overtime for the past week or so. So you trying to you finna leave and do your own thing.
Right.
And again, it may not seem like anytime you go through trouble, it may not seem like it, but in actuality, it is a temporary problem. You see what I'm saying? And we got to be smart enough to understand we can't get that confused with anything that we can make a permanent solution with, a permanent decision with, rather. And so that's why I want to have that discussion, like going from job to business. These some key considerations. These some things I want everyone to think about. If you are thinking about, going down the road of leaving your job for your business or starting up a new business, or if you've done it before and maybe thinking about doing it again, but it just kind of help you with the thought process. Again, feel free to call in 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. But just to kind of have that discussion with people in regards to some key considerations that you should have with that. And the first thing I will say with people is, and this is probably what people have to be honest with themselves, that's really the viability of the business.
Right.
I have discussion with people all the time because people call sometimes, they book the appointment. Hey, we're thinking about starting this food truck. We're thinking about, going in, doing contractor work. We, things that they've seen, that may have some kind of experience with it and everything. And it may not, theoretically be a bad idea, but it may not necessarily be the best idea for them during their,
at that particular point in time. Right.
Correct. So when I say about business viability, you got to do some kind of evaluation and market analysis to understand whatever you're trying to do right now. Could you be able to operate or facilitate any kind of success, in the current client or area where you at?
Right.
It's ironically, I got 2 kids in college, and we were having a conversation. We were talking again just that viability aspect, and I talk about it all the time. We're gonna do more shows on that on the Change the Lives channel. You have the thing that you want to go to school for, and you have who hiring.
Right. Right.
And
what they're hiring for.
Yeah, and this dictates everything. And it was just with 2 of my sons. I mean, just over the past 40 hours, that's probably one of the tough conversations I've been having with them in regards to my personal opinion.
Right.
Because a lot of times people will say to a child, like, hey, what are you going to school for? Well, they'll ask, what's your major? But then they'll say, this, that, and that, and people are like, yo, okay, that's good. But it might not be good. Because it may not be, when I say not necessarily good, I'm more so like, what is the market demand for that the next 4 or 5 years? What is this, that, and that? Do you got to move?
Right. Or is it a market that's going to be dead in 5 years?
Exactly. Dead in 5 years, or do you got to move? Is the opportunities there? And it's the same thing, and it's not nothing to take personal with it. But, you might get other credentials and stuff with it, but I don't think people do that because a lot of times people, um, depending on the experience level, they don't necessarily know to ask certain questions to, especially with the children, folks.
Well, they
So you
don't
say,
want to discourage you, which is
well,
when you pay for that college, you need to discourage them as possible to get them to do the right thing and understand that this side of the career is not going. They don't need no more people who plunge toilets. They need somebody to fix the toilet.
well, you see how applicable that is to just from a business standpoint being viable. You want to have these particular things because you feel like you can cook good or people are always busy with it. You don't understand, like, you got to actually know the financial side of a business. When you
Right.
find out, how small the margins are in restaurants, you see, how many times you got to sell certain products to even break even, from a retail standpoint, a production standpoint. Once you know that side of it, you may want to reconsider
Right.
what you're doing because what we say all the time, don't get busy confused with profit.
Profits, right?
You see a long line around the restaurant, you see people waiting, man, they making a lot of money, they making a lot of sales, but that doesn't mean that they covering costs with that, right? Because you selling a $50 plate of food, but it costs you $45
For that plate.
from the food to the packaging and all this other stuff, and then you put in the other variables, payroll, this, that, and that. Shit, it's 45. Excuse me, I'm sorry, because with it, that's $45.
All right, for that
And-
one
and-
plate of food.
One plate. Once you start looking at it, but people don't want to do that because what we say all the time. Once we got numbers and data in front of us, now we're accountable,
Right.
and now we know, right?
Yeah.
And people want to feel or think that they doing the right thing instead of just knowing. And I say all the time, where I'm at right now, my career and everything, I ain't got no money or no time to lose, so I need to know.
Right.
But that's one of them things I think people really just really do a lot of research to find the viability. Just because you like it, you seen it, you heard about it, because a lot of times people are not gonna be completely transparent with you.
Most
When
definitely.
when you see people doing stuff, man, I got this business going on, we doing this, I made this last week, I did this. They'll tell you, like I said, though, the sales side. They don't tell you the profit side.
Nobody's
right?
gonna sit here and tell you, man, my business is failing. I mean, 95% of people are not gonna tell you my business is failing. I messed up. I need to figure out something else. I'm gonna have to close this thing in a week. I only got a week worth of cash in the bank. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't sustain it. I already had to let 5 people go yesterday. They're not gonna tell you that.
Well, people will give what the audience for the audience they have.
Right.
If they know somebody's gonna scrutinize, just say you're talking to Mr. Short Dollar, I'm gonna ask some questions like that. Now they may not even get a conversation with me because we talking.
Right.
No, not that I asked, but we talking like that. But then a person that you don't know, like you may want to be impressive to a person. Yeah, this is what we're doing. This is what you're doing. To your point, they won't necessarily say the other side of it, because especially when you start in a certain business, you starting up, you're gonna lay out a lot of stuff in regards to money and things like that, and it may be months or a year before you recoup your money back. I got a house I got to rehab within the problem start maybe beginning of May. I know I got to put in X amount of dollars, right? It's going to be a payback period from recovering.
Right.
That. I can't just look at I put in $20,000-$30,000 into a house to get renovated. Okay, now man, I'm making $1,300-$1,400 a month because my mortgage is $2,000. I'm just it's $2,000. I rent it out for $3,000. I still got to pay back what I
you already spent in.
what I spent in.
So you're actually not profitable right now.
Exactly. And a lot of times people don't want to look at that, or they really even, to be honest with you, don't even think about that.
Right.
And so you got to have viability is very, very important. Very, very important. I would say again, do as much time as you can, do some market research, any kind of chance you can get intel on certain situations, especially business operations. From that standpoint, we talk all the time. People may not necessarily be versed with business. I always say that if you go to school or not, you're gonna pay for the education.
One way or the other.
Sitting down in the classroom or paying for somebody that know how
Right.
to do it, to fix it and stuff. But somehow, some way, it's still gonna get paid. So you just gotta kind of be mindful of that. Don't get discouraged if it take a little time to kind of find out, because again, remember we said that commodity of time. Once it's spent, you can't get it back. But shit, I wouldn't be wasting my money, my time,
Right.
Just trying to hold on to something because it's something about psychologically. Once we start putting out, we just can't let it go.
We don't want to
And-
fail. We
and
don't want to
listen,
fail.
I ain't sinking with no shit.
We know we got the best fried chicken,
Hey,
and it's gonna catch next week.
well, again, you got people that got delicious, man. And I'm let me say this too, Leo. I see some of these restaurants on social media like everybody else, and I see them dumping all this food on there. I'm saying to myself, how in the hell are you making money putting that much food on there?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why the franchises stay in business long because they know they have a cost per size, right? For the patty, the bun, the lettuce, tomato, it's a cost. They know this is what it costs for a Big Mac. We got our sales price. This is our margin. We sell many of these. You know what I mean? But if you just dumping,
You don't know.
yeah, you don't know. You know,
don't know.
now there are instances where that may work, where you might go into, you have some bars where they doing a measurement and people get the drink, and they got a cost where they make it. That's one thing, but if I always look for if you got somebody freehand pouring, and you like to drink,
Right.
you gonna make more sales because they buy more.
Right.
You might be so inclined to buy this little perfectly measured old fashioned, as opposed to something that's solid and sticky.
Yeah.
I might get about 2 or 3 or more.
Right.
And tip my bartender pretty
So
good.
you're gonna make it. So it's gonna even out.
Yeah, or you may do better, but it's a situation that'll dictate that.
Right.
How you might move different. That's why I said the experience side to come in with
Do
it.
you think people when they start a business, they in general, just in your experience with your CPA side and all that, or I'm sorry, accountant.
We could.
Do you do you think that they even think about all those aspects of business? Because we've had this conversation before where we, they don't even. I mean, do they even add that stuff up? Know what this costs? Know what that costs before they even start? Because you always say, I tell them, look, you need to know what's coming in the door. You need to know what's going out the door. You need to know how much the lights cost. I tell them all the time, and they be like, I don't want to hear all that. But I mean, on general, like, just do you think they even think that deeply into the business? Like
5% probably think that deeply. From the 5, so you're at 95. Let's say 10% think that deeply, which not there. Say 10%, but from that point, 45 don't know, and another 45 just don't care.
Just don't care.
You know what I'm saying? Just being real with you. People have a vision of where they want to be, and anything outside of specifically what they want to hear is blasphemy.
Right.
It's noise. It's hating.
Okay.
And so, no matter what you say, they're not going to hear that. And unfortunately, that's one of the major causes where I think a lot of time with people, they try to do certain things with business. It's very unfortunate, and you see it all the time. But again, when we get money in our pocket, we think we're real smart.
Yeah, but
That's
and they don't even think to that level, that deeply. They getting tied up into this. We need to be on this specific corner. A lot of time, and I've been in the shopping center business for a very long time. I've been in the shopping center business of a long time. I've seen stores that had no signage, full, making money, and stores with signs all the way around the building, not doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes it's not the location. Sometimes it's just the business, the nature of the business. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So
my name show says something. I
be having that problem sometimes. Yes.
Well, that was going back before. Just demand is something serious,
right?
If it, you wanting to have something and it ain't necessarily demand for it, or you like something. What we always say, like, I'm not selling to me.
Right.
I'm selling to
the masses, right.
So if my customers and my market is not interested in it, it ain't really benefiting nobody for that to happen. So those kind of things got to be taken consideration. Again, we're talking about going from job to business, key consideration. Another thing I think a lot of people really don't understand is if we start talking about skills and experience. You may have an actual skill where you actually know how to sell, build, cook, or do certain things, but the experience level of from the operation side, you working in the business and you owning a business, two whole separate things. And typically, especially from a psychological standpoint, if things don't go well with your job, the worst might happen is you lose it, lose your job.
Right.
Not necessarily you lose your livelihood. See, it's a different dynamic when you know I might lose my job and I can go somewhere to get another job.
Right.
But if I turn around, the business don't work and I lose my house, my car, my marriage.
You leverage some stuff.
Yeah, my marriage,
Right.
and all this other stuff. I done, refinance my house, pull cash, miss a house note, miss a car payment. It's a whole different level of stress.
Right.
And your thinking is totally different. If you go to I'm gonna give you an example. If you go to bars and restaurants when they first open, you see the owner kind of up front. I'm the owner, this, that, and that, because it's kind of new. It's new and everybody excited. Go check that out about 4-5 months in. Ooh, they stressed. Ooh, shit. Ooh.
I won't be as friendly
No, even it's just that it's hidden them. What I thought and what it is,
Right.
two whole different things. And a lot of times, we see stuff because, I hang out at bars. I know how the bar work.
Right.
I hang out at a cigar spot. I know how it work. I cook for years at a certain restaurant. I know how it work. It's not necessarily the case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You might know how to do the task, but the operating standpoint.
The operations is a totally different thing.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we seen a lot. Like I said, that pandemic really woke a lot of folks up because when the pandemic came, and they were giving out these disaster loans and stuff. What's going on? Sexy Redbone 28, baby girl ×3, and it was his Caramel. I ain't gonna be able to say all that, but thanks for tuning in. Appreciate everybody tuning in on TikTok as well, and Instagram and everything. Appreciate everybody tuning in. But a lot of times people could have had money. I'm gonna start this business. I'll start that business up. And what was happening, I could allocate this. I could buy this truck. I could buy this equipment. I could buy these products.
Right.
But everything was just attracting. There wasn't no damn additions.
No income.
Yeah.
Just expenses.
Yeah, because all you see on the internet, everybody got their LLCs, they got their websites and all that stuff, but they weren't making no money.
Right.
And now everybody back square one, Ubering and DoorDash.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying? And I'm not knocking it,
right?
But I'm saying that it's easy to sit here and just see, because once you have it, and when you have access to money and do certain things, you gotta be smart about it. Then it's just when people get money in their hand, they feel like they smart in what they are because they have the actual cash to spend,
or they get dumber. They get money in their hand. I'm not saying it to be facetious, but you get money in your hand.
Wise and unwise.
Right, unwise. They get unwise. You get money in your hand and you start thinking about all the other stuff you could be doing. And then you start saying, well, I got this check this time. I know I'm going to get one more, so I'll take care of that on the next check. You know what I'm saying?
Like, one of the biggest things people go to the channel is for what? Those damn grants. And people understand. People want grants and help and everything like that. We push the information out there, but it's like people don't realize like why. Everybody's not gonna break their neck to contribute to your vision. People say I want to get a loan for a business. Nobody want to fund it. If you've shown your whole life every time the people gave you money, you lost it. What incentive do they have to give you more money?
Right.
Real talk now.
Right.
We talk about all the time. Like folk come to me with a pitch. Hey. Poop, man, hey, listen, I got a business investment, got an idea. Cool, and they'll tell me, man, I'm looking to buy this, buy that. Now, one damn time. Now, I'm telling you, like, I ain't never had nobody just say, well, look, man, if you give me $3,000, so I'm start this up and I pay you back. Well, what the hell you gonna give me? I don't want $3,000.
I need $3,000 plus.
Yeah, but like that don't process to them. So even when you start looking at it from a bank, they're gonna have a higher scrutiny level. But what's the incentive?
Right.
And I don't think people get that.
If I give you $3,000, you're going to give me my $3,000 back. There's no incentive for me to invest in you. Why don't I just keep my $3,000?
People don't think like that.
Right.
And unfortunately, that's why a lot of times, people can't really get things started. Because, again, the relationships that they have, be it personal or business, they kind of tarnish them by not taking care of certain things. So, like I said, that skills and expertise standpoint, I think a lot of times people really need to step back for a second, because it's great to have skill sets. I always push people to have skill sets to be able to do certain things. You can actually leverage stuff out. Things go slow one end, you can actually do something else. But when we start talking about being a business owner, being a business owner, again, we're talking about going from job to business. You need to make sure that you got some expertise in regards to business operations outside of doing a specific
you gotta have
task.
more expertise than just knowing how to fry that chicken. Because I'm gonna tell you the biggest thing I saw when I was in business or when I was just managing certain things, like we had a security detail on all these shopping centers that I was over, but I wasn't over the scheduling. I let the head of the security be over the scheduling. And do you know how hard it was for them to have we got to have a certain amount of coverage, certain amount of 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you can't make a proper schedule for the staff that you have to make sure the coverage is adequate for the business that you're securing, that's a good judge. Like if me and you worked at McDonald's and I was the manager and I got to make the schedule for the McDonald's and I don't know how to make this schedule because I got 4 people gonna be off on Saturday, then one I'm gonna call in sick. So I don't know how to make that schedule properly so we have proper coverage. That tells a lot about running a business. Just making that schedule does a lot to show you if you can run that business properly because you still got to have coverage.
Yeah.
Whether you fill in or not, you still got to have coverage, and you still got to make sure that the coverage is proper so you can serve the customers because the customers may not go down. They may go up.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I always say, well, if you can't make a schedule, I don't know if you can run the business.
Well, I to your question a little bit earlier, I don't think people really get into business thinking about that. I think they think about more so what they can do, not necessarily bringing other people out of their immediate circle into the mix. That's why you see so many restaurants and bars struggle early because they really underestimate the impact of servers and waiters and stuff. They think they just get people.
Right.
Okay, we just hire some waitresses,
right?
And find out very quickly.
There's a difference.
That waitress can be so detrimental to your business. The wrong waiter can be so detrimental to your business that it can destroy everything. I'm talking about from negative reviews, an inspection, lawsuits. I mean, it can destroy it. So sometimes people just underestimate the whole point of getting the right people in. We see that going. You go a lot of these restaurants. You can just tell, like, man, look,
she on her phone
maybe
the
a
whole
person,
time.
Maybe a person been, they probably got some pride in themselves. But a lot of times you just can't tell. Maybe somebody got some kind of training in regards to that, and or you see some places like, man, they don't give, like you said, they on their phone, they don't care. They're not going back and checking on folks and stuff like that. It's amazing because again, it's just a lot of times people really, I think, underestimate it. Well, they got some other stuff going. Like
Sharon Rose 3000 said that. Sharon 3000 Rose said that you could tell that they're hiring anybody.
Yeah, well, the thing of it is, I don't think a lot of people know how to hire. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Because everybody gonna tell the same lie.
Yeah, I've been doing this for 3 years.
Yeah, I'm gonna do good. I'm gonna come to work on time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I mean, people want a job, so they all gonna tell the same lie. But how to scrutinize them, how to make sure they're properly trained, how to actually manage them and stuff. Everybody got a skill set. See, that's when it comes to leadership. Knowing when the hell to fire somebody. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times people say certain that they don't. Well, they got kids, they got a car, no this, that, and that. But thanks for calling the Dollar Hour. This is Deontay Burton. Who am I speaking with?
Hey, this is Shannon Jackman. I had to call in.
What's up, boss lady?
Hey,
What's going
man. First of all, the businesses, because I came in not too long ago, so I don't know what y'all talking about before then, but when I came in, I just hear you talking about the waitresses and how businesses are just hiring. It's like they have a lack of, and like Lab was saying, they they don't. If you can't manage just scheduling, definitely you can't run the store. First of all, I managed a couple of fast food restaurants, and you have to be able to schedule and get the right people on your team at your time. Sometimes day shift might got a bad team, but with my night shift, you get the people that gonna work and they gonna be on point. You got your cashier there. But see, when I was working those jobs, it was a different time. But see, now that they got this social media, people can't live without knowing what's going on the internet. So they've got their phone in their back pocket. That was my job or jobs I have had. You can't have your phone in your back pocket, especially working at a fast food restaurant. You turn around and on their ass, you see the cell phone. I know niggas like that. I'm trying to take the ass out. She got her cell phone right there. You know, so they're not the people that they're hiring now just getting a job. It ain't about customer service. And most stores and managers and companies, they know they got solid people there, but all they worried about is as long as somebody is there. You know, so they just got bodies. It's not a real service. You know, they gonna get a better now. See, Chick-fil-A, they got a standard, but McDonald's and all these other restaurants and even restaurants, they don't have that standard. So it's about the business and the companies and the people that's running these places. But most businesses, they have so many, like a McDonald's, KFC. They don't care about what's happening in Atlanta, you know, in Hiram. You know what I'm saying? So it's just they just hiring people. You know, it's not about the service for the people. And in a minute, they got all these attitudes out here, and they see AI going to take over these kiosks. They doing test run with these kiosks. And the people, here go a whole people in the back kitchen. They tell you to go log in on the kiosk. And I'm like, well, can you get me at the register? So you standing right here, but you point me to the kiosk. So we finna be, you know, they just finna make themselves obsolete. That's all. That's what's not that.
No, it's cool. Well, see, what we talking about tonight is, you know, going from your job to your business. Like the point you're bringing up in regards, you know, people not having folks properly trained on their staff. What brought that up is when we start talking about you want to, you know, start your own business, you having these certain things. To that point of everything you just said, not having people properly trained, I just think vast majority of people that actually open up restaurants, open up a lot of these businesses, they don't know that. Like they know their task, they can cook, and you know you can find out very quickly because you might have a good concept in regards to your restaurant or your bar or your club, but because you didn't, you underestimated the impact of those servers.
Right.
That's those kind of things that cause people to do that because it's hard to. Once you get the ball rolling and you working to, you know, let's stop and now we got to try to train these waiters and train these people to do certain things. You know, McDonald's and all that, I think that depending on where they come on the actual serving chain, because, you know, we start looking at certain restaurants and everything, like just like your Chick-fil-A, but you start going to some of those higher-end steak restaurants, whatever, 5-star and stuff like that. You know, they do have those standards. But you can just tell they probably put a lot of money into training dollars.
Right, into training, right. Yeah.
Now, again, depending on you starting your business up, you got a good concept, you underestimate that. You underestimate that. And unfortunately, a lot of people really can't come back from that. But I just want a lot of people to just kind of think about that. Those things like that, the training, advertising, management. When you want to step out there and do your own business, you know, go out there, have a leave my job and do this. You have to really don't underestimate anything. I got it. It's one thing about it. The only person you really know is yourself. And you really don't. So you don't even know that person too good. So assuming people gonna do right, that's recipe for disaster. But I appreciate you calling in, sister. I appreciate that. Good talking with you.
Absolutely.
You take it easy.
Okay, well, y'all, now I'm gonna finish listening to the show, and y'all enjoy the night.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it.
Orange Bud.
No, that was a good point, man. I think that's one of the biggest killers. People just underestimate what you know the things that they really do underestimate. Management, employees, definitely advertising. I mean, there are a lot of, you know, you go places. Sometimes you've been to like a restaurant, and the food good. And it's not necessarily, may not necessarily be in a bad location, but no one knows it's there. Right. You know, and people not understanding, like, hey, they'll, you know, want to do some damn Facebook posts. Maybe sometimes pay a influencer to say they came there and everything. But man, you got to pump that money out there. Right. I mean, it's the reason every time you turn TV on, ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm just saying, like, like it's constantly.
O'Reilly.
Yeah, I'm just saying that.
You know that.
Think about that. You know, you see McDonald's, but you see they constantly advertising. Right. Constantly doing that. And if you know you don't have nowhere near the traction at, why the hell you ain't? Right. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Just from a logical standpoint, if I know I got to sit here and bring traffic to me, right? You know, and you know, we talked about that before as far as knowing the right. Go check out the video I did on, you know, choosing the right channels on how to advertise your business and
Right.
stuff. You know, some things might be social media, some might be radio, some might be TV, some might be Google ads. You can find the right mix, you know, to how to promote your business, depending on who your audience is. But you can't really never underestimate that. Now, again, we're talking about going from job to business are key considerations. Again, it's the Dollar Hour. I am Deontay Burton, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself, streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok, and Twitter. The call in number 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. Feel free to call in. Again, if you've left your job, started a business up, if it's going great, didn't work out too well, you're contemplating on doing it, just give a call in, add to the conversation.
And I want to say we're not picking on restaurants, but generally a lot of people start a lot of restaurants because they have a concept of what kind of restaurant they want to be going. They want to be serviced in, or you know, whatever. So they try to start that business. We're not just saying restaurants, but it's the easiest thing. It's not easiest, but that's one of the things you have to break down because you see restaurants on just about every corner. And one of the smartest things I ever did when I worked at a restaurant for a while when I was in college. The smartest thing I ever heard was a person say who owned the restaurant was, look, talking to the staff, look, we're going to have to shut down on Wednesdays and Thursdays because I need to pour more money into advertisement, and I can't do it if I'm open on these days, but these are our slowest days. So once the advertisement pumps up and we get going, we'll add the days back one at a time.
Yeah.
Once the customers start coming in.
Yeah.
But I could take the money that I'm paying y'all to stand around and put it in advertisement, get more people in here, and then open those days back as the service warrants.
Yeah.
That was one of the smartest things I ever heard.
Yeah.
I said, I ain't never thought about that.
Well, you know, you plenty of time. We sitting out there when I was working fast food all them years on the west side. It was sometimes when it's slow, the manager like, hey, yeah, man, you go home, go home, because you know you have a system in place where they knowing it, and those kind of things got to be thought of. Like I said, I don't think a lot of times people have the wherewithal to be understand where they're in business. But again, we're talking about going from job to business, key considerations. One consideration that I want to talk about right now is that one that I think people totally damn underestimate, especially African Americans, and that's that damn those healthcare costs. And a lot of times, because not necessarily because you ain't sick, because you know I'm former military, so I'm going to get my damn physical every 6 months. It's kind of damn stuck with me, you know, with everything and stuff. Nowhere near as active as I used to be, but I still stay on top of myself. I know I am the minority with a lot of my friends. Most times they do it, it's got to be job related or something like that. And a lot of times, because we don't have certain things going on, we figure it ain't.
Right.
And even if we do, we may not necessarily. We know we might got high blood pressure. We might, but you know, hey man, I take a little pill, I drink a little vinegar, whatever the hell people do, and totally underestimate it. And then they leave their jobs, something happens, and it's catastrophic. Shit, a headache visit or whatever, could be a couple $1,000, right? Pressure went up. Yeah, you went in the emergency room, but
10 minutes.
Yeah, 5. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got $5,000 medical bill, right? There are things people really gotta be honest with themselves. I'm just be transparent with me. One of the key things was I was all those years in business. I can't sit here and say that, you know, again, my the insurance was always on mine with my job, right? But I knew I wanted to leave my job. I didn't ask my ex-wife, like, you know, okay, can I go in your insurance? I wanted to make sure. I wasn't thinking about leaving my marriage at the time. Right. But I just like, let me just make sure I got me. You know, again, you know, glad I had that foresight. But long story short, my medical, with me being a disabled veteran, once you pass 50%, that's when they, you know, give you free medical, right? So I went from I think like 40 to 60. So at that point, like, okay, cool. I knew then I could leave because not necessarily with the kids, because the kids went on my ex-wife insurance, which they did, but I knew, okay, I had me covered.
You had you covered.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, okay, that was an anchor. Not that I even had issues, but it's the what if. Because over the years, I done had, man, stomach hurting and go, and hell, you go visit with these damn urgent cares or whatever, you find out real damn quick. You got all these crazy ass copays, deductibles not met, and then the insurance only gonna cover this, that, and that, and you got insurance. The bill's $7,000-$8,000, but you still coming out $1,200-$1,300.
Right.
Like,
I went to when we call it DIVOC. When DIVOC happened, I went to one of them. What they call it? What's it called? Just called it urgent cares. And insurance didn't cover some parts of it, and they charged me $497 just to take my temperature.
Really? Wow.
It was $497. I was in there 5 minutes. They took my temperature. That was just because the DIVOC test was covered. That was covered at that time. So they didn't charge me for that because that was automatic through the government. But the temperature, blood pressure, and that was it. $497.
And you had insurance, right?
I had insurance, but insurance don't cover urgent cares like that.
To that point, like, just what I'm saying, what is it? The statement, the statement they give you, maybe like every month, like, okay, this is what insurance cover.
Right.
This is not a bill. Man, that can be catastrophic.
Right.
And I want to say, anytime when you're in business, man, I'm telling you, self-employed, if worst case, at least get that marketplace stuff. Get something. And you got to make sure you're really thinking about it, especially that if you have issues outside the scope of that. Because when I say issues outside the scope of it, that we're like, okay, cool, you may have to get some kind of surgery. You may have some other underlying ailments going on. I'm not telling you to chase your dream, but I am saying that, listen, if you ain't got everything properly set up, it can be devastating. It can be devastating. You got, reasonable amount of money because when you do go in business for yourself, your lifestyle does change.
It does.
Because, when you're going to work, you're working from 9 to 5. You may be working from 9 to 9.
Right.
Working for yourself.
Right.
Or, I'm saying, real talk,
or
man.
Or that 12 to 3, 4 o'clock in the morning because you're trying to get stuff ready for tomorrow.
That crazy shit I do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want people really, really to understand that aspect. That bill.
So they say her DIVOC bill, and it was $510,000 for her DIVOC bill.
Now, what is DIVOC again?
COVID.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Hey,
It's just back. It's just because they like to cut you off on social media.
I got you.
It was $510,000.
Wow. That colonoscopy bill, when I went and got my colonoscopy, it was like this. I thought it was one thing, like, okay, it wasn't that bad. I got a statement. It was like one thing for I think the anesthesiologist was $5,000.
Right.
Then the colonoscopy was like about $7,000 to $8,000. Then the damn doctor. I was like, what the hell?
It's not charged all together. Like,
come on now.
When she was in the hospital, we got bills from several different doctors and the hospital.
Man, and again, you trying to start your business or you leave your job, you got to make sure you got those kind of things set in place. Another key thing, again, we're talking about going from job to business, key consideration. Another one is, this is very, very important. You got to make sure that your support network is good. And I'm talking about in regards to your family and things like that. Far too often, people start a business up and a significant other is cool with it. They're proud of it. Hey, hey man, my girl, she opened up that salon and everything, man. I'm proud of it and stuff.
Right.
My boy, he done got, you got the mower, you doing the landscaping and pressure washing and everything going good.
Everything looking good.
Until your ass stop coming home. And you're not coming home because you don't want to come home. You ain't coming home because you working.
Right.
Right? You working because now it was cool when it was an addition to your job.
Right.
Now that is your job. So you got to make the job money.
And
there you go.
X-top on.
Because you got to sit here and pay the cost of operating your business. Again.
So you paying two bills.
Exactly. Remember, you your job is gone. The job was there, and then the business was just adding. The business, you got to cover the business costs and your lifestyle. So you're replacing all that, covering that. And I think, man, most folks really not prepared for that.
I don't think they think about that part. Like when we first had that first conversation about your business, you said, look, when I started a business,
what's up, Nick?
I got rid of this, and I made sure that I could cover this part before I stepped out there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't think about that. They think this is my business, it's gonna be great. I'm finna make millions of dollars. I'll worry about that later.
Yeah, man. It tough. It tough. Like I'm gonna tell you this, man. I do think a lot of times your family and people close to you be wanting the best for you.
Mm-hmm.
But when you start adding other dynamics where like shit, man, hey baby, look, I might can't cover this month. I might can't do this, that, and that. Like, well, shit, this your business. It ain't my business. Man. You might gotta start missing some games. You might gotta do some. Now these sacrifices come into the mix, and people like I ain't
sign up for this.
I ain't sign up for this.
Right.
I ain't signed to be paying a damn mortgage.
Right.
You've been doing this. You said you can cover it. Well, I had intentions on covering it, right? And those kind of things happen
all the time.
And it's not that the business gonna fail. It's just you're hitting the bump, and you got to make sure your team in place gonna be solid for that. And unfortunately, you really don't find that out
until money problems come along. Yeah,
because everybody stay down until turmoil happens.
Right.
And then when it happens, now
get rocky.
Exactly, man. So you really, really, really got to try and put some feelers out to kind of see and everything. I knew with my situation, I knew it was a little tough, with my ex-wife, because I remember I said I asked years prior to, hey man, would you sign up for a loan, co-sign a loan for me, so I can go and get ready, give me a little cushion to leave over. And that pause, shit, for real.
It was a pause.
It was a pause.
2 hour pause.
And she kind of like, all right, I'll do it. She didn't want, so I knew then, like, hey Poochie, get your stuff. Get your stuff. And I don't feel like you obligated.
Right.
I felt some type of weight in, but again, that was my dream to leave and everything. We're doing it, and it also, prove how bad I want it.
Right.
They're like, look,
do it all
help
yourself.
me or don't help me, I'm still gonna do it.
Right.
But I remember that pause, like, shit, I thought, damn, because I got a decent track record out here, successful and all that kind of stuff. But
that pause be something else.
That pause, like, damn, for real?
I got many pause like, look, we're going to get this real estate license, we're going to get this broker license, and I think we should go and do such that, and you hear...
Cut your hair like a knife, boy. Cut you like a knife.
But, like, why we got to do all this? Basically what I heard, so, yeah.
You got to make sure, you got to make sure that you're really set for that. Again, we're talking about going from job to business. Going from job to business, some key considerations. You want to add to the conversation, feel free to call in 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. What's going on, Savvy Publicity, PR? Man, I be trying. What's up, Jasmine? What's up? I am Shaniqua. I appreciate everybody tuning in on TikTok. TikTok going in and out, man. So many people coming in, it's hard for me to catch them. Again, we're talking about these key considerations. I want people to kind of just think about the certain ones that that may be applicable to you, may not be applicable. If you got something we haven't mentioned, feel free to call in and add to it. Risk assessment. I think people really don't necessarily look at all the great reasons. Again, we're talking about to leave your job and leave your job for your business. That risk assessment, hey man, you might be a couple years from retirement.
Right.
You might already be, steady with doing certain things. Because like I said, I always tell people, I'm a big proponent. Milk that cow as long as you can.
Right.
And I know with me, I was sitting there looking like, man, I'm sitting there making right there a good chunk of money in my salary, and I was able to do that. Got the salon going, we got the clean company going, we got the properties, we got the the nut, which was the tag business. I'm sitting there chilling, but I was miserable with doing it. But I kept hitting that glass ceiling. Like my job went, I hate going in there and everything. But it took me a lot. But I was sitting there constantly trying to weigh out the pros and the cons. But that's why I said the biggest risk I knew with me personally was, because I'm making enough money on the business, I've been okay.
Right.
But my thing was the medical, the insurance. Once that took out of it, now it's more like, all right, what you got to say now?
Right.
With me personally.
Right.
But I think a lot of times people need to make sure they look at that. Okay, cool. If you do leave this job and you do feel confident you can, it's one thing to feel confident you can make it, but you got to make sure, honestly, if you don't really know if you can cover your basic costs. I always kind of say, when you're doing your job, just a basic bit of advice. If you have a job and you got a business going, make sure that business is covering that. If you even contemplating it, it's covering at least your basic necessities,
Mhm.
your mortgage, your rent, your utilities. If that's $2,000 or $3,000 a month, you need to be at least covering that.
Uh-huh.
So if you leave your job, you know that I'm making that.
Mhm.
You know, we still can be viable with that. That's the least.
Right.
If I'm just doing that, we start to just assessing the risk. You want to be able to at least know, okay, cool. If I leave, I'm still going to be living.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not
Right.
hoping.
Hoping.
Yeah. Go fund me and all
Praying.
this. Yeah, but you know, and the people are like, no, I ain't making that kind of money yet, but I can if I be free.
Right.
Wait.
Mhm.
Because you're hoping you have free time to do that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it's harder to come back from certain stuff once you done made that assumption. You can be a little bit more riskier. The less liabilities you got, that being i.e. mortgages, mortgages, rent, car notes, family.
Family. Yeah.
But you know, if you by yourself, you can be, you know,
You take a lot more chances because it's just you that you're affecting.
But I would definitely kind of look at it in terms of, hey man, make sure that business is kind of at least covering life costs.
Yeah.
Can they cover that? If you do that, then you might say, okay, cool. I can at least live consistently. That money's covering that consistently. I would say at a minimum 6, definitely, preferably 1 year. I'm at least covering whatever, you know, my monthly output, whatever. I'm making that kind of money with doing that. You know.
Slick say at least 6 of your monthly bills.
Yeah, shit.
Yes.
I want them. I mean, the necessities.
Right.
The necessities.
Right.
Because you know.
The variables, though, when you have business, you have those variables. And depending on, like, and I don't think people add this up, depending on, like, if you have a brick and mortar store, like a restaurant or a boutique or something like that, barbershop, you got to have, people don't realize the insurance that's required, especially in shopping centers. Like, we required a minimum of $1 million, like, insurance on your space. Like,
that sometimes it may require a certain phone thing. Those things got to be covered itself. So just say if the business making $5,000, after the rent insurance is left $1,500 a month, you gotta be realistic about, like, look, man, what can I do with it 15? What can this 15 cover for me?
Right.
If it's additional putting in your pocket, great, right? When we start talking about leaving my job for this, we gotta, you know, be realistic what you're doing. Don't be careful with that assumption. Well, now I'm free to go do more of these, now I can do that.
right.
You hoping that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time people get, you know, the thought process, and it may be true, but leaving that is tough. I would say get yourself more comfortable where we're doing so well in the business. My job is almost an inconvenience for me. Then I make some considerations with doing that. Again, we're talking about going from job to business. Key considerations. Feel free to call in 678-740-9894. Again, that's 678-740-9894. Another key consideration is just your financial cushion. What you have. Because what I've seen too many times, people milk will really suck themselves dry trying to stay open on something they left. Because, you know, I left my job, we got the business, everybody, we've let everybody in the world know we got the business going, we let everybody know that I left my job, we're doing it, and the business ain't working.
Right.
And they're still operating, but instead of them just saying, look, man, this ain't going, they pulling from their 401k. They pulling out a kid college fund.
A second mortgage.
Refinancing the house. There you go, doing all this other kind of stuff until you just like
Tapped
bone
out.
dry.
Yeah.
I had what I call my FU money. You know, I was sitting on this cushion.
Right.
Like, you know, and, you know, I like, man, you know, I could really just cuss, you know, my CFO out in it. They're like, man, I ain't staying.
Right.
I knew what I was sitting there looking at it in the bank. I had enough. I was comfortable. Man, I ain't got to damn be in here, whatever. That, you know that number. You know that number, whatever. Like, cool, man. I ain't got to be here or whatever and stuff. And you know, if things happen, I can cover myself. Not saying that's for you to spend frivolously, but you know, okay, look, I got a cushion. If this thing fall, okay, cool, and I can even work with transitioning back to something else, if need be. But if you like, man, I ain't got a rent. 'Cause those stories sound good. We hear on the internet, man, I was homeless. I just had, you know, God was on my side, and I just left with a dream. That shit, it sound good.
It sound good, right?
It sound good. Yeah, it's gonna be down the blood bank.
Giving plasma.
Trying to get plasma. Look here, man. you need to try your best to get that cushion in. Like, look,
Right.
you know, cool. Worst case scenario, like I say, not for you to spend it on the business, but your emergency thing, just case. You know, we talk about that just with life. But again, you talking about leaving an actual job to start a business up. And man, hey, listen. The business already risky enough.
Right.
The key thing is to make sure that you got things that never protect yourself. It's a reason why a lot of these corporations got risk management departments. They want to make sure that they're assessing themselves and they're reducing their risk exposure as much as possible. From the people they're hiring, the investments they make, the practices they do, the products they sell. They want to make sure that they're reducing their risk exposure as much as possible. So you need to do the same thing with yourself. Because remember, when you become a business owner, especially when we start talking about, you leaving your job, all the systems that the company have in place, you have to do that for yourself, like we talked about last week. So the scheduling, the managing, the training, the advertising, all that kind of stuff, you got to create that. When you go to work every day and you got your you already know your schedule, things you got to do. That's already set in place for you because Labs in this department, Poochie in this department, you know what I'm saying? We got Slick in this department. Like, that's already set up, and we know what that department does.
Right.
You have to create and design those departments and those tasks and all that other kind of stuff. That's what a business owner got to do. And a lot of times, like, people don't think about that. And depending on when that realization comes to your mind, hell, you might be so damn far along you can't recover. So you really got to think about that kind of stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And unfortunately, a lot of times people don't want to, that's too much. I worry about that.
I worry about it when I cross that bridge when I get to it.
And the reason why a lot of times people do that is because of there's no barrier to entry. So like I tell you, like people don't necessarily get an accountant when they start up. I look at the camera. That's the reason why a lot of times people don't get a accountant when they start up because you don't need an accountant to have your business. And you might need to call the insurance guy because, like you said, you might have to have a policy.
Right.
But an accountant, you don't necessarily need us. They call us when they,
when it's too late.
To fix things.
Right.
So, but that's the kind of thing when we start looking at having certain things in place, have them systems in place. Because what happened is you'll spend so much time starting over, fixing this, things running amok because you're not running at the optimal level or where you can make adjustments and stuff. Or nothing set up to even have metrics to monitor things, look at your progression and stuff. You don't know.
Right.
What
do you think are the top 5 things that they need to take into consideration before they start a business? Top 5. We got a bunch on the list, but we want to get the top 5 based off the Short Dollar list. Mr. Short Dollar's top 5 considerations for starting a business. Things you need to consider, like most important to you.
Me personally,
yeah,
I think number one, that viability. The other thing is actually, the legal side of it, the zoning and all that kind of stuff. What you can and can't do, because that can impact you. The cost, the cost. At the end of the day, the cost associated with running that business and starting that business. Can you charge prices to make money enough to cover that? With doing that. How dependent you and other people are to be operating your business.
Okay.
We know that the more valuable business is the less involved you are with that business. We know that we're only restricted to the amount of money my business can make by the amount of people I have working out there. My 2 arms, my 2 legs can only do so much. Right. So the more people I got out there doing stuff for me,
the more money I can make.
The more money I can make.
Right.
But it goes back to what we talked about earlier when Shane called, like, hey, look, man, you can't even get reliable people.
Right.
So how dependent are you on that? This something you can do by yourself. You got to be stuck with other people. The last thing of it is, man, that family aspect of it. If you don't have a family, great. But your support system, man, when you come home, it's just like your job. You come home, man, you done had a rough time. You want to decompress. If that stuff ain't solid, it ain't gonna last.
Right.
It ain't gonna last.
It's gonna crumble hard.
And what gonna happen is it's gonna come to a fork where it's either family or the business. And a lot of times it ain't necessarily the damn family. Because that person might be happy with their business.
Right.
So you got to kind of look at it. Those 5 things I think what people would probably consider with doing that. And that's very important because a lot of times I think, again, people when they leave their job to start a business, they always think of the pros. And and never think of the cons. And it's super, super important you give some kind of consideration to that. When you take a lot of these things into account with doing that, you know, and I think a lot also just having that long-term vision of, you know, where I'm at and where I want to be. And I would, you know, we talk about like that goal setting. I'm here, I want to be there in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, and working backwards. Understand the steps to do that. Most times people don't want to necessarily look at the step side. They just want to be
here.
You know, you're here. And just, I want to be this mogul. I want to be this CEO. I want to be there. And we know theoretically, if you're really in the business side, a CEO is a strategist, not an owner.
Okay.
A lot of time, people don't understand that owner is working there. A CEO is a strategist. He's planning. He or she. They're planning how things are going to work out.
Right.
You start going in the corporate world. We start looking at those terms like that. Those executives, they don't work. They plan. They sit there and look at it, you know, from a financial standpoint, from a management standpoint, from an operational standpoint. They're more designers than
They look at the back end like, I got 17 robots doing this job. I need to let go of 36 people. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I'm gonna send that to the president, who's gonna send it to.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's when you start dealing with those kind of people. It's not necessarily owners, and I just think a lot of times people get in the business, they really just trading jobs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't say here you had a job that was paying you $50,000 a year. Your job paid you $50,000 a year. You go out here and now you done got your truck. You done say, you know, you got a contract. You're making $150,000 a year, but you had $100,000 in expenses. You still made $50,000 a year. But your back's so now.
Right.
Now if you feel like, okay, man, I'm good. I got the freedom. Cool.
Right.
But a lot of times I think people don't really understand. Like, look, you know, you don't work a whole lot more harder to do it.
To get the same amount
to get the same amount of money.
And you don't have insurance.
You don't have a lot of stuff in place. But again, like I said before, with entrepreneurs, a lot of times it just come with that freedom. But most people don't necessarily get in that. They want money.
I think a lot of people, when the pandemic happened, the small business owners realized that they didn't have those systems in place.
Yeah.
Because once people stop coming, what now?
Yeah. But that's been one of the biggest things, you know, from beginning of time. People realize real quick, like, you know, especially when we want to start going next level and stuff like that. Structure is very important. Very important. And money can mask a lot of stuff. When you're doing things like, I can put in this more money for this. If I get more money, somebody fund this, I can start that.
You can pump money into the places that lack, right?
Yeah, but that's what people do. You just get a more expensive Band-Aid to cover the wound up. But listen, man, I hope everybody enjoyed this conversation. You know, if you came in on the tail end or whatever, remember you can go to Mr. Short Dollar on YouTube and check out the video in its entirety. Going from a job to business a key consideration. In addition to the over 900 videos on the YouTube channel that we have right now, we have on the grants playlist. I know a lot of people come in looking for the grants. We got an active grants playlist with over 150 different grants, and everything segregated on the YouTube channel in regards to, you know, if it's entrepreneurship, if it's grants, if it's finance and stuff like that. There's a lot of great information on the YouTube channel. But I appreciate everybody tuning in and commenting in and stuff. Then with this discussion. But like I said, if you came in later, feel free to go to the YouTube channel, check out the video in its full entirety, leave your comments and everything there. And you know, usually take about 24, 48 hours. I'll respond back if you got a question or anything in regards to what we might have we discussed on the show. But guys, take care of yourself. Love you, appreciate it, be safe, and I'll talk with you soon.